Alright, so why don't we cut to the introduction and then move to what the thumbnail says? Hello, right here. So before we commence, my name is Michael and I am into IT. I've got a couple of projects on my website, you can check that. I'm into web programming, networking, and other IT related skills. Okay, so well, let's brush it off and let's start. Well, so this is the software we're going to use in our course. Okay, so Sketchware Pro. So Sketchware is a software which is used in application development. Okay, so for the Android operating system, and then this software can be used. Oh, it's user friendly. Okay, so if you're a beginner, well, you can make something out of this software. Okay, so from a beginner to a pro, and then this software is for both if you have a coding experience, if you have a programming experience, you can also use, if you have no programming experience, you can also use this software. Okay, so either you have a programming experience or no programming experience, this software is for you. Okay, so all right, so let's get straight to the software. So I have the link below the description, okay, so that you download this sketchware um, application. Okay, all right, so this software is a free software, okay, which allows you to create mobile applications. Okay, so depending on what you want to plan to do. Okay, so depending on the application you want to do, you just sit down and write it down, and then you put your dreams into action. Okay, you put your dreams into reality. All right, so this is the application we are going to choose. So if you try downloading this application from Play Store, you are not going to get the latest version. The reason why you're not going to get the latest version is that software itself is a discontinued project. Okay, so I think since 2020, this software was discontinued. Okay, by its developers. Okay, for the reason of financial support. Okay, so if you try to download the software from Play Store, you are going to actually get the old version. Okay, and which would not support um, which will not support what we about to do, or the latest Android development. Okay, all right. So, well, let's start. So I have the link below the description, and you just click on the link and then you download the latest version. So the version I'm using here is um. So let's okay. So let me check the. So I'm using Sketchware version 6.30 fixed. Okay, so this is a modded version. Okay, so this is modified. Okay, modified. Okay, so if you open the Sketchware app, this is what you're going to see. So this is the first interface, and then if okay, so if I am to click this place about model, so this are the set of developers who made this software. Okay, so if I click on the intro, so we have this Sketchware. Okay, so you can read all this, and then okay, so you can also give credit to the modder team. Okay, because they have done hard work. Okay, well, okay, so let's start with what the thumbnail says. Okay, so if you open the app, this is what you are going to see. All right, so let's start. So, well, if you open the app, you're going to see this floating plus icon. Okay, so this is the floating plus icon I'm talking about. Okay, so when you click on this floating icon, you are going to see this. Okay, so what we are doing is app development. Okay, so we want to create mobile apps. Okay, for distribution. Beginner, you can use the software to um, from you can use the software and then become a pro in this software. Okay, all right. So let's start with the application name. So what name do you want to give to your application? Okay, okay, so let's say I call it new. Okay, so you can give it any name according to the plans you have in your head. Okay, okay, so and then let's get to advanced settings. So advanced settings, we have the package name. Okay, and then we have the project name. So if you are making a project, you can give it a project name. Okay, so you can give it any name. Okay, maybe if this is my first project, you can just write first project. So first project. Okay, all right. And then the package name. So for the package name, we can assume this is also another name for the application. Okay, so you can adjust the package name based on your own your own. If you want to give it another name, you can do it. Okay, so based on the custom format we have here. Okay, So let's get straight to the app. So after you've done all these, okay, before that we have some colors here, so color accents and then color priming. So to know how these function, make sure you click on the question mark icon here. Okay, so when you click on this, you will see a dialog displaying what each of these buttons, how they function. Okay, so we have the color primary, dark color primary, color accents, and then all these stars. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. So don't worry if you don't understand. We are going to have a practical way for you to understand. Okay, so after you set these, make sure you click on create app. So create app. All right, so we are on the first interface. Okay, so this is what you see when you start the application. Okay, all right, so to remind you again, this software is for people with no programming experience. Okay, if you have a programming experience, fine. Okay, you can make something extraordinary better out of this one. Okay, and then if you also have no programming experience, you can also make something, well, something really big. Okay, depending on what you have in plan. All right, so let's start. So this is the interface. Okay, this is the interface. Okay, so the whole of this is the interface. Okay, so this is the screen um of of your mobile phone, if I should say. So anything which goes in here, I mean, what you see is what you will get, if I should use the acronym. Okay, all right, so let's start by explaining what we have here. All right, so to the first one. Okay, so this is our project. Okay, and then this is the undo. So this is the undo action. Okay, so if we um if we make a work, or if we make something and then we want to undo the action, if we want to go back, we use the undo. Okay, well, and then the other one is the redo. Okay, so the redo. Okay, all right, and then we also have the save. Okay, so this is the save. So after you have your application, after you finish creating your app, you can use this button and then save your application. And then we also have these three dots. Okay, so these three dots also have a set of functionality, or have a set of buttons which functions differently. Okay, so let's get to this side. Okay, so if you check the bar, we if you check the bar if you check the bar, we are on the view tab. Okay, so we are on the view tab. Okay, so this is the view section. Okay, so in the view section, this is what you are going to see. Okay, all right, so let's come to the left pane. So this is the left pane. Okay, so we are coming to talk about the items here, then how they function. Okay, so if you know how these function, you would be able to put your set of plans, or put what or make your dream a reality. Okay, here. All right, so let's start now. You can see a section here which says layout. So this layout is referring to how the items will be placed in your application. Okay, so how the items will be placed in your application. The first layout is the linear edge. So the linear edge is talking about the horizontal side. Okay, so if you want your items to be placed horizontally, if you want your object to be placed horizontally, if I say object, I'm referring to the buttons. Okay, the buttons, we have so many objects. We'll look at it as we are moving forward. Okay, so this is the linear height. So if I want to use this one. Okay, so as you can see, we have nothing in our interface. So if I want to use the linear horizontal, I just click and then drag it. Okay, so I drag it to the interface, so you see something like this. Okay, so now after you've dragged the linear horizontal, what do you call it, object, now you can now you will get to the screen. Now I can make it. Okay, so I can adjust the height to match parent. Okay, now let's fit to the whole screen. Okay, so now let's add items and then let's see what we really mean. So I'm going to add a widget text view. Oh, okay, so well, let's we can change the text of the size. Okay, so we can change the font or the size of the text. Okay, so just refer to the button. Okay, to make your adjustment. So I'm just click on the text size and I'm going to choose a size, let's say 100 sp. Okay, so now you see my item is scrollable. Okay, so now I can scroll in, and so if I want to change the text view, the text itself, I'll just press on the ABCD and then then have a text. Okay, so let's say so let's say I use something like hello world. Okay, so hello world. Okay, and then all right. So you see it becomes scrollable. Now I can scroll. Okay, all right. So if I add another text view, if I add another text view. Okay, so now items are going to so items are now going to be are going to okay, to misbe or behave abnormally. Okay, so let's see what I mean. So let's say I make this one 100 sp. Okay, now you see this one becomes unscrewable whilst this one becomes screwable. Now what is happening here? Okay, so now the reason is that you see if I click on this place, okay, you will able to see this as this what I've clicked on. Okay, the object I've clicked on is a scroll horizontal. Okay, and then if I click here, you would able to see we actually have no layout for this text view or where we place our text. So this makes our text behave weird. Okay, so we have to add another layout to this part. Okay, so before that we would want to delete this. So if you want to delete a text, if you want to delete an item, just click, then you drag it to the bin. Okay, so before that we have our scroll. Okay, so we are going to add a linear vertical or a linear horizontal. Okay, so that it will prevent our items from behaving weird. Okay, so we have a scroll vertical, and then I'm going to make the height, okay, match the width. I'm going to make it match. Okay, so now if I place my text view on it, you can see they all behave normally. Okay, so I can make the text size 100 sp, and then wow, it's scrollable. I can make this also 100 sp, it's also scrollable. I can make this one 100 sp, also scrollable. Well, to the next layout. Okay, so the next layout is the scroll vertical. So the scroll vertical also acts the same, also does the same function. Okay, it also makes objects scrollable in a vertical way. Okay, so if if I should delete everything here, or if I should undo everything, okay, and then if we should use the scroll vertical, it's also going to, but let's not waste time. Okay, so for the radio group is also another layout. Okay, it's also another layout which acts like the linear vertical. Okay, now let's move to the other side. So here we have the Android X. So the Android X section. Okay, so this section is some kind of new features in the Android app development. Okay, so some kind of new features we can use. We have the collapsing toolbar. Okay, so if I drag it, we know. Okay, so if we have the tab layout. Okay, all right, we also have the button. Okay, so home, chat, and then profile. So if you are making a chat application, if you are making some kind of social media application, you can use these. And then well, all right, so let's move to the widget. So this is the widget section. Now in the widget section we have the text view, we have the edit text, autocomplete, and then so all these are kind of objects, all these are kind of items you can use. Okay, and then we also have the button. So if if you want a button, so you just move, click, and then drag the button on the screen. Okay, now we have so many buttons. The material button. Now if you also want an image, okay, so we can drag the image. Okay, so we'll know how this function and we'll know how this will function. Okay, in the later part. Okay, so now we have buttons. Okay, now we can set a functionality. We can make this button functionable. Okay, so you just add it to the screen and then you make it functionable. So to make it functionable, we'll look at it. Okay, so we have plenty stuff. Okay, we also have the radio button, the checkbox. Okay, so all these, we also have the seek bar. Okay, so this one, it can be for music, it can be for video, and then we also have the switch. We have rating bar. Okay, so if you want them to rate your application, you can set a functionality. Okay, so you can well, depending on the ideas you got, we have a search view. Okay, so this one will be for will you add set of functionality to this one so that you make it function as how you want it. We have the web view. So this web view, this thing, okay, this web view, This one is for, let's say, website. If you want to make a mobile application which would be linked to your website, you can use this web view, and then it's going to work perfectly. Okay. All right. So we have plenty. The library, we have the badge view. Okay. So well, because of time, we cannot actually do everything here. Okay. So let's manage. Okay, so in the library section we have the badge view. Okay, so for this badge view, if we drag, so this is how it becomes. So this one looks like a badge. Okay, and then if we come to the Google side, okay, for the Google side we also have some kind of items here. So we have the add view. Okay, so for these ones. All right, so now you can see I'm trying to drag the add view. Okay, but it keeps saying in order to use this component you have to in order so it keeps saying in order to use this component you have to enable a button. Okay, so we are going to enable this button and then we are going to use the side. Okay, so let's move on. So we have the date and then time. Okay, so this one is also a group or a set of objects. Okay, so if we drag the clock, so this one is a clock, and then we have the time picker. Okay, all right, and then we also have the date picker. Okay, so I think these ones are well self-understanding. Okay, all right, so now let's look at the other part. Okay, so now we are on the view section. Now let's move to the other sections. Okay, so let's see the events tab. Okay, so let's click on this tab, the events tab. Then let's see what we have there. Events tab. Okay, so this is the event tab. So the event tab has a set of buttons. So let's know the function of each of these things. Okay, so we have the activity. Now activity. So the activity refers to I mean the screen itself. Okay, so how you interact with the user. Okay, how the application itself is going to interact with the user. Okay, if we are talking about the screen. Okay, so if um if if we should if we should click so if we should click on this floating plus icon, it's going to give us a set of activities. Okay, so this is activity. Okay, this is activity we have. So we have activity import, activity on back pressed. Okay, so if so this is trying to say what should happen. Okay, so what should happen if the user clicks back, what should happen. Okay, and then for this one, activity on post create, so what should happen when the startup is complete. Okay, and then we have the others here. Okay, so on start, so what should happen. So I think the explanations are under. Okay, so we have the explanations under, so make sure you read the explanations. Okay, so just keep in mind when we talk about activity, we are just talking about this how the application itself, how the screen itself is interacting with the user. Okay, so the first activity we will have is the main activity. So for the main activity, just as the first page you would see when you open an application. Okay, um, sometimes the first screens are just sometimes the first screen are used for navigation purpose. Okay, so depending on what you want to do. Okay, and then we also have the other activities or the other screens. So we'll come back to the activity later. And then we have the view. Okay, so the view, if I click on the floating icon, the view the view will be okay will also be um, some layout. Okay, so this one will be I think the layout or the objects or the items we place on our screen. Okay, so if I go back and then let's say I add a linear view, and then I adjust it width to match, and then I add a text view, I add a button, okay. Now let's move to the event tab, then let's see the views. So if you click on the view so if you click on the view and then you click on the floating plus icon, you should see the views we selected, or the views we dragged to the screen. So we have the layout. So layout, it says layout on click. So if I if I get into this if I get into this section, it's just trying to say what happens if someone clicks on the layout. So what should happen if a user clicks on the screen or on the layout. And then for this one, says text view. So I added a text view. So what should happen if the user clicks on the text view or if the text view changes? And then we also have the button. Okay, so what should happen if someone does a long click on the button? Okay, someone does a long click, someone does a click on the button. What should happen? Now we are going to make this functionable. Okay, all these are going to make it functionable. All right, so just click on the cancel, and then let's come to the component. So for the components, the component is also some kind of items. Okay, so the component is they are other items which add a set of functionality to our application. Okay, so I just said sketchware is for everybody. Okay, even the people with no programming experience. So if you have no programming experience, or if you don't have a programming experience, using this set, all these buttons, okay, makes it easy, okay, to put your dreams into reality. So for the components, we have plenty components. Okay, so to know the components we have, just click on the component section. Okay, so we also have the component section here. Okay, so you can hit on the components tab, and then let's see the components we have. So click on the component tab, and then we are going to click on the plus icon. Okay, plus icon to see the list of components we have. So all right, so now let's talk about the intent. So for the intent, for this one, it's just an interaction between the user and the screens. Okay, so if the number, so anytime we anytime we want to, I mean, make a screen functionable, we use intent. Okay, so we add intent to, the intent some kind of serves as a link between the screens. Okay, so you can have screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, and then this intent will help us interact with the screens. Okay, let it flow, depending on the ideas or the plans you've got. Now let's go to the next component, which is the shared preference. So the shared preference, this one is a component which tracks user data. Okay, so it keeps user logs or any forms of data you want to keep, okay, in the app itself. Okay, so it forms part of the app itself. Okay, it keeps data or it stores data. Now the calendar, okay, so self-explanatory for the calendar. Some kind of functionality if you want to make a calendar application. Vibrator, timer. Okay, so for the timer is just going to be it's going to be a pace. Okay, maybe you want to make an animation, or you want to, okay, so we are going to know how we use this one in other examples or other projects. And then dialogue, so this one, it's the object which is going to pop up. Okay, so it will pop up, and then maybe it might say click on okay, exit app, do this, do that. Okay, all right. And then we have the media player for music, sound, pool, object animator. So the object animator for this one is also has a set of functionality. Okay, so if you want to animate your object, if you want to animate your item, you use this component. And then camera. Okay, so also explanatory, you have the file picker. So the file picker picks this one. So depending on the ideas you have, it picks files straight from your phone, or it's going to just add files to it. Okay, so we have plenty. Okay, we have ads, we have Bluetooth. So all these are components. Okay, well, let's go back. Okay, so now let's come to the drawer. So for this drawer is also a lot of it functions as a navigation pane. Okay, so if we add drawer, meaning we are going to have a navigation pane. Okay, so some kind of, okay, let me, well, okay, so we'll have more examples on that. Okay, so let's, for this one, it's just, we are just doing a quick review of this application. Okay, so drawer is just a navigation pane. Okay, so maybe you can have a navigation, and then which says about app, about this, about that. Okay, all right, now let's move to the more blocks. So this side, okay, this side is also a place where you can create custom blocks. Okay, so if you, depending on the ideas you have, okay, create a custom blocks. Okay, now this, I forgot to say, this software uses Java programming. Okay, so Java programming language. Okay, so if you click on more blocks, okay, so you meet a dialog box like this, and then if you want to add a set of codes, you can, well, depending on the ideas you got. We are going to take this one by one. Okay, now we have finished the component tab. Now let's move to the three dots we have here. Okay, so let's click on the three dots. Okay, so now this also has a set of a set of buttons. Okay, so we have the library component, the view. So let's click on the library component, and then let's see what we have there. When we click on the library component, okay, so we have things like app, compact, and design. Okay, so for this one, if you enable a drawer, okay, if you enable a drawer, you have to keep this one enabled, okay, so that the drawer will function, properly. And then Firebase. Okay, so this one is also another part which makes the app very interesting. Okay, so for the Firebase, we are going to if you can move to the Firebase console if you got an account, or if you can move to Firebase console to create an account, and then you'll be able to manage your application. Okay, I mean, well, manage your application in the Firebase. Okay, well, we'll have a video on the Firebase, how to search everything, and then the other stuff. Okay, all right. And then we have the add mob. Okay, so this one, if you want to add ads to your if you want to add ads to your application. Okay, so let's say you want to make some coins. Okay, some, I mean, a few cents from your application. You're just going to add um you're just going to, I mean, you're just going to open the add mob settings. Okay, just create an account in Google, and then get some Google ads on your application. Okay, and then everything, well, will move cool. Okay, all right. So then the Google map, okay, is very understandable. So for this Google map, if we use if we select the Google prop, I mean, if we select the Google property, or if we use the Google map item from, I mean, if we add a Google map item to our screen, we should have this one enabled so that it makes it functional. Okay, all right. So now we have talked a lot in this video. Okay, we've talked a lot in this video. Now let's now let's have the last step, and then we end here for, and then we make projects. Okay, okay. So now I'm going to drag this one here. Okay, so we have the calendar. Okay, now I forgot to say you can also change the background for this. Okay, so let's assume you want to change the color for this. Okay, so background color. Okay, you can have a background, any background color. You can have a purple. Okay, and then it becomes purple. The background becomes purple. Okay, so depending on the colors you want, depending on what you want to do, just make it, bring it to reality. Okay, all right. So now let's go back to what I was trying to. Let's go back to the three dots. Okay, we didn't finish. Now with the three dots, okay, we have the view here. Okay, so for the view here is going to manage your screens. Okay, the screens that you have, you will be able to manage the screens you have. Okay, and then let's move to the image. So for this one, you will allow you to import image from your mobile phone to your application. So let's click on it, and then so to import image, you are going to click on this floating plus icon. Okay, so we have a floating plus icon here. So just click on the floating plus icon, add image, gallery, and then you can add any image from this side. Okay, so you can choose any image, give it a name, you give it a name, and then you save it. Okay, so after you save it, now you can add it to your application. So if I want to use the image in my application, I can add either I can use it, this image, I mean, use it in several ways. I can change the background to the image I selected. Okay, so I can change the background of this to the image. If you want to do that, just hit on background resource. Okay, so background resource is going to allow you to choose the images available. So I'm going to choose my image, and then whoa, the background becomes the selected image I chose. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so we have this. Okay, now let's move to the collapsing bar again, and then so sound. So for this side, if you want to import sound, okay, if you want to import music or sound, you can do the same thing, use the same process and import your music and the sound. And then we have the font. So if you want to import any downloaded fonts from your mobile phone, just do it straight. Import Java files. So this one is talking about Java codes. Maybe you have codes, okay, Java codes, which, or maybe you're experienced in programming, and then you want to add, well, a little bit of functionality to your application, make it very solid. Just use this side, okay. So we have the resource, the assets, the permission. All right, all these tabs. Okay, we are going to take you through all these things. Okay. All right. So now, assuming you've finished creating your application, and then you may ask, how do I get this application on my phone, and then how do I share this application? Well, this is the tab. Okay. So we are going to use this tab. Okay. So this is the tab. You're going to click on Run. Okay. So just click on Run. Okay. Run here. You're just going to click on Run, and then the application you have made, or the plans, the dream plans you have put in action. Okay, you just make it visible, to the whole world. So I'm just going to click on Run now. Okay, so I'm just clicking on Run, and then application just, so we are going to meet a few questions. Okay, well, you can have a game on this one. All right, so now we have, do you want to install this application? Well, install. Okay, so now I'm installing this application, and then this application is going to appear on your phone. All right, so done. Now let's move to my phone. Okay, so now this is the application I created. Okay, this is the application we made. This is the application new, which is the name. Okay, but we didn't add any image to. I mean, we didn't set any thumbnail. So if I click on my application, okay, so this is the application. So I think we have a calendar application for this one. So April, May, June 2000. Okay, so we can keep going, can keep going, can keep going, and then we also have a nice shoe here. Okay, so this is where we will end our review. Okay, so this is a quick review on sketchware application. Okay, so please do us a favor and then subscribe. Okay, so the next video we are going to do is we are going to introduce more projects. Okay, we are going to create more apps so that you understand what really happened in this video.